Good day, folks. Welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name's Dika, where I share my experience and my knowledge, hoping to lessen your learning curve. So today, I have a product review on a surf rod. This is a rod that I bought as a backup rod, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it and what the pros and cons are based on my experience. And my striper season is right around the corner. It's March, it's 13th or 14th now, and my striper season is right around the corner, so it's about time maybe I do a little review on it and help people make an educated decision on their purchase if they choose to purchase this rod. So this rod is the Tsunami Airwave Elite. It is a 9.6 70-30, and this one is rated for 3.5 to 3 ounces. It's a medium, and the action is fast. Medium power and the fast action tip. So overall, it is a very light, very stream. I mean, you can see, I don't have the biggest hands in the world, but I can cover the butt end with my finger. It is a very streamlined, light rod, probably one of the lightest rods that I've ever experienced in my life. I caught a bunch of stripers on it. I even I set it up with a couple different reels, trying to get a good feel for it. But I ran short. I didn't like it that much, but I'm going to tell you why. All right, so I think based on this, now the price point is about $200 for this, and I think that it's like an entry-level rod. That's what I would get it for. Now, this is based on my experience. I know other people who have this rod that love it. That wasn't necessarily my experience, and again, I'm going to tell you why. So, some pros on this: super sensitive, super sensitive. I wouldn't say it's. I have a TFO Tactical Surf. I think that's more sensitive than this, but this is a sensitive rod. And as you can see, it's super thin, so streamlined. And I set it up with a 5,000 Saltist, Daiwa Saltist, and a 6,000 Tsunami Saltex. It would literally cast a mile. Cast further than some of the other rods that I have. So there's some of the other, or even rods that I've had in the past. I've had a Penn Battalion. I have the TFO Tactical Surf. I just brought a St. Croix Siege, and this it really cast well with both reels. That being said, I think that this is made for smaller fish, and I'm going to tell you why. So I caught some stripers on it, and any striper that was 40 inches plus, I felt like the rod was just going to break in my hand. There's just so much pressure on this, and maybe it's because it has a fast tip to it. A lot of them, the ones that I get are moderate or moderate fast, and the rod really loads up on those larger fish. This one, as you know, a fast tip, it's usually just the end here that's going to bend for the most part. The way in which it bends is based on moderate, fast, heavy, all those things. Excuse me. So I felt like when I was holding it, right, and I had a really big fish on there, I'm talking 40 inches or plus, I felt like this rod was just going to snap. There was so much pressure on the rod. At one point in time, I thought it was maybe the reel that it was matched up with, but it wasn't the case. I changed out different reels, giving the rod a fair chance, and it didn't work for me. Now, it's a 9.6 rod. I'm used to something a little bit longer, and maybe based on my own experience and my preference, that's why I ran into that sort of behavior of the rod where I was unable to control the fish. So there are some times when, say, you're fishing on a jetty or you're fishing near rocks, and you see those fish trying to make it into the rocks. Sometimes you got to tighten down that drag, and you got to sort of pin that fish and get that fish out of those rocks. I literally felt like the rod was going to break, where I actually had to back off, and I was like, holy crap, this rod, it's just going to snap right in half. And a 40-inch fish isn't a giant fish, but for the most part, it's a good-sized striper. So, like I said, lots of pressure on the rod, and it just didn't give me what I wanted. Now that being said, maybe it's because I'm just a larger person, and I want to wield a larger rod based on my size. I don't know if that's the case. I'm kind of making excuses for it because I know some other people that really like the rod, and that's kind of why I got it. I have a friend who fishes with a Van Style 125 on it, and he loves it. He's caught good fish on it. In fact, I've seen him catch good fish on it. I have a video on my channel of him catching a good fish on it, a 40+ inch fish, and the rod really did the work for him, and he felt that it was fine for him, but not so much for me. Everything on I think it's made well. I mean, the guides are good. The reel seat is fine. It's sufficient. I don't love it, but it's good. The rod itself, like I said, it's not flimsy, and it's strong, and it's made well. It's a graphite rod, like I said, 70/30. It does have that sort of claim to fame with that 70/30 that gives you that sort of one-piece feel that I do agree with. I do agree that it's a good rod and it's made well. But like I said, those bigger fish, and maybe the rod isn't going to break. Maybe this is just my opinion based on how it feels. I mean, when I'm holding a good fish on there, I mean, it's like, whoa, like my brain starts to panic a little bit, like I'm not going to be able to hold this fish, as opposed to other rods that really load up, and I feel like that fish is pinned. They claim, some of their manufacturing, they claim that the walls in the rod are thicker. I'm not sure I agree with it. It's a thin rod to begin with, like I said, and they claim that it's strong and light. Well, it was strong enough to hold the fish. Whether or not it was going to break is up for discussion. But in my opinion, it was not one of those rods where you let the rod do the work for the most part. You know, you let them run for a little while, then you pin them, then you reel them in, and you know, you kind of pump the fish in for the most part, depending on your style of fishing. And it didn't do that for me. And like I said, it's a 9/6 rod, and it's a fast tip. A lot of what excuse me, a lot of what I have are 10/6 or bigger, and they're moderate or moderate fast. So maybe that's the thing that threw me off, but that's just my overall opinion of the Tsunami Airwave Elite. I hope this is helpful to you. I hope this helps you make better decisions when you're out there, and it's all I got for you. Sub the channel. I'll talk to you guys later. Be well.